Okay, so code switching is where a speaker will have access to more than one language variety and may switch from one language variety to another in the course of their talk. And they can either do it by switching whole sentences, or it might be that they can just add an odd word from a different variety into what they're saying. So it's quite common for speakers who are bilingual, so speakers who speak more than one language, and it can be caused by there's various different reasons. So sometimes people can code switch just because they don't know the word in one language that they know in another. But they might also code switch for more sort of deep-seated psychological reasons that researchers are still trying to figure out exactly why. But they could go, for instance, halfway through a sentence, suddenly switch into their other language. So it might happen, for instance, for somebody who speaks English but also speaks Urdu. And so it might be, for instance, a younger member of the family might not know all of the words that the older family know in Urdu, so they might take an English word into a conversation they're having with an adult. Or it could be that they code switch because they associate particular things with particular languages. So, for instance, if a language symbolises home and family to you, if you're talking about home and family to somebody else, then they may not be a member of your family. You might switch into the language that you associate with that domain if they understand both languages when you're talking to them. Register is quite a tricky term actually, and it does get used in different ways, which makes it more complicated. But essentially most people use register to refer to a way of speaking that's tied not necessarily to identity characteristic, but to a context of talk. So, for instance, you might have a register for speaking to your friends, and then a different register for speaking if you were having an interview, for instance, or in my case, for instance, I might speak in a particular register for lecturing, but I might use a slightly less formal register when I'm in a seminar with students, where we're talking more collectively together. So it's really to do with the type of task you're engaged in when you're talking, and how that might affect the particular way in which you speak.